Hello and welcome to Bernard's Regards. It's me, your host, Alex Raus, along with my co-host, Luke Raus.
Happy to be here, Alex.
Happy to be here. We're going to be discussing your weekly matchups. First up, we have the Chicago Kickbacks versus the Columbus Chrome Devils. Currently, Michael is projected to win by about 16 after a strong showing from George Kittle on Thursday night. However, I feel Zach's going to put up a good fight.
Yeah, well, having that 16-point advantage itself going into the weekend, it always, it doesn't actually help, but you always feel confident going in with that high projection.
Yeah. With the tight end hitting high, you can't necessarily go wrong.
It's been a strong... No, not a strong year for tight ends this year.
No.
I've struggled myself. That's one thing. The highest tight end on the waivers wires right now, I believe, has like 4-point projection.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're shopping for a tight end, it's not pretty out there.
Not
so
a good
having a
place to be.
16-point tight end.
And George Kittle has proven to be almost quarterback proof. He's now on his third QB and is still top 5, I believe.
That's very impressive.
Tight end. Very impressive. My pick for this game is Zach, actually. I think he is going to come back. I think Julio's going to have a good game. I think his team is just going to perform a little bit better than Michael's will. I think the matchups lean a little bit more towards Zach rather than Michael as far as offense to defense matchup.
I see the firepower on Zach's team, but there's fire on that Michael team as well.
Yeah, very true.
That is why I'm going to pick the Chicago Kickbacks to take this one.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill is he's always due for an explosion. You got to respect it. James White, he's
a monster.
I think he is averaging the most receptions for running backs right now in the game. And he's going to be poised against Green Bay.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Michael on this one.
I gotcha. Any other comments about the matchup?
Well, I did like Zach, and I have a sleeper pick on Zach's team as well. I think Aaron Jones is going to have himself a week here because I've been involved in that Green Bay running backs. I owned Jamal Williams earlier this year, and it's not... You don't want any of those running backs, but I think Aaron Jones is going to have a big week. He had 12 carries last week. And I think it's going to... If he can take over that lead, with Aaron Rodgers, you can do anything. So if that offense is clicking, they're going to have to run the ball against the Patriots. But I think Aaron Jones has
should be a good game Sunday night. It might decide a few matchups.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one.
Let's move on. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Horse Sticks versus the Des Moines Dad Bods. This is going to be a close one right now. Mark has had one player go, Jalen Richards, for what, 4 points so far? 4.9. And Mark now is projected to lose by 2. Very close. I think the closest matchup we have this week projected so far.
Yeah, but there's still a couple of the lowest projections this week, of course, 90 points apiece.
Yeah, definitely. So it should be a close, maybe a rough-looking game. My lean towards this, even though Mark is projected to lose right now, I think that he will end up pulling this one out. I think Chris has had a lack of depth all year and consistency. He is the most losing team this year. I don't think he pulls this one out with his matchups. I think especially having 2 empty bench spots that he could have filled with some waiver wire picks. I know you're all about the waiver wire. There's a lot on the waiver wire that could have pushed him up, especially in his flex or maybe even starting running backs. And I think Mark ends up pulling this out. I think Mark has a slightly better team. He started off rough on Thursday, but playing any Raiders player right now is a bad move. Yeah. So my pick is Mark for this week.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you again on this. I think that the Dick is going to be strong enough this week. Yeah.
Rising from the bottom.
Nick Chubb is 18 carries in the last 2 games. Hopefully it's not too big of a blowout against Kansas City. You never know. Yeah. Cleveland's defense is actually good this year. But
they could keep it close.
I think the Horse Sticks have a good... Diggs and Kelsey are both really strong.
Yeah.
I just think he's got the big names that are going to be able to perform this week.
Yeah.
And I don't love Mark's team.
The one guy I do love on Mark's team is Funches. See, Funches is going against Tampa Bay, who's got a really rough year on defense. I think Funches is one of my sleeper picks this week. I think he is going to put up a touchdown at least, if not two.
Okay.
I think he gets at least 70, 80 yards as well. And I think he puts up at least 15 points, kind of doubles his projection type thing, pushes him over what the horse sticks can put up.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But, yeah, that's we'll have to look at that one.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
Next up. All right, next up we have the Thunder Bay Thundercats versus Lagavulin 16. Which is weird that a whiskey would be called 16 when you had to be 21 to drink. Anyway, it's a thing. We got Gene versus Tony. Heated rivalry that almost seems like they built it up more than everybody else, but it's okay.
Yeah, I would
agree. It'd be like a commissioner or
it almost seems a little forced.
A little forced.
Well,
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
fun.
It's fun to watch.
It's fun.
It's fun to watch. When you see a few people being like, F you, F you, you're like, what happened? Anyway, let's get to the game. All right. You have Gene, who currently is projected at around 115, Tony around 120, with nobody having any players yet. Now, they have some interesting matchups with their players so far. You have Gene, who's kind of lived and died by the Chiefs. You got Mahomes, and you have Hunt, who have both done really well together, especially Mahomes.
Yeah, I definitely love it.
Especially Mahomes. And he's got a few guys that are kind of hitting their stride right now. But
is 5-2.
Yeah,
5-3.
5-3. But he's number 2 in that division, and so he's right behind Tony. He wants to get a little bit of ground on him.
Yeah.
Maybe even try to get a run on the division lead, but he can't do it himself, so he's going to need other people to try to beat Tony, which doesn't seem likely. I personally think, though, this is my upset alert. This is my upset alert. I think Gene will end up being the first team to beat Tony. I don't like it. I'm not cheering for it, but the matchups...
It's blasphemy.
I know.
It's blasphemy.
Seems that way. You have James Conner playing the Baltimore Ravens, his worst game of the year. Kamara's playing the Rams, which is a rough game. New Orleans versus
It's going to be a high-scoring game, though.
It could be, but the Rams have a very good front and very good defense, and I think they're going to shut them down. The one tough spot on Tony's team I see outside of Connor is Phillip Rivers. I think if his QB puts up less than 16 points, I think Mahomes on Gene's team is going to put up a lot on Cleveland. He can get it done with his legs. He can get it done with his arm. He can do a lot. He's versatile. So I think Mahomes puts up a good 30 spot, and I think if Rivers puts up less than 16, 17, I think Tony loses that game.
I think it's blasphemy against the gods. I have Tony in this one, obviously, and I think my co-host is delusional for betting against him. I think Tony's going to win this one
handedly.
20 points.
20 points.
Maybe
20
point win here.
20 plus. Putting up a good Bama score.
Alex has mentioned the matchups, but this team is matchup proof. That's why it's so good, because what was Tony's worst week? I mean, it was more than 130.
120, 128, something like that.
So on a weekly basis, Gene would have to go off, and even then, still, I have Tony in this, and you're crazy to bet against him.
Fair enough. We shall see.
We'll see.
Right, next up. All right. Last up, we have the Mount Olympus Megalodons versus the Cordoba Gauchos. Jonah versus Joe. Yes. It is, again, another very, very, very close projected score.
Yeah.
I think it's actually going to finish really close. I think a few of the other games that are projected close won't. Like the Chris and Mark game, I think is actually going to be not close at all.
Yeah.
But I think they'll finish within a few points of each other. I think it's almost a push for which team will win. I think the matchups are similar. I think their depth. For Joe has a lot of people on bye week, but he actually does have a good depth to be able to fill it with people who who, I mean, he's projected to win right now.
Yeah, I think these teams are going to... It's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I think both teams are structured pretty similarly with some strong running backs.
Yeah.
Maybe a strong receiver, but they both have a couple wild cards in there in the flex positions that are going to
definitely
win or lose this game, in my opinion.
I think for Joe, the one player he needs in order for him to win, Willie Snead. I think that Baltimore versus Pittsburgh game is a prime time opportunity for him to get a Will Fuller 5 performance. A 75-yard TD. He doesn't necessarily need a lot of catches. He just needs a good number of yards.
He's going to need those touchdowns.
And he's going to need the TD.
Well.
Yeah, definitely need the touchdowns. If he can get a good 40, 50, 60-yard TD, and that's what he used to do, and that's the kind of threat that he is. He's healthy now. He can play, and if he's able to put that out there, I think Willie Snead is the difference maker for Joe.
My difference maker in this game is going to be Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
He's always
definitely
a risky play, but he's a play that you can set, and he's got a huge ceiling, and I think he's finally starting to click with Tom Brady. They gave him his timeout, but he's been averaging 4 or 5 receptions a game, and against Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is going to be slinging it. It only makes sense that Tom Brady's slinging it.
Yeah.
They're starting to get that connection down.
Definitely. I mean, Brady said he's never seen him drop a ball. Green Bay just traded away Clinton Dix, their safety. If he can break one to the second level, then he might be able to get some extra points there. Yeah. That's gonna be one to watch, especially Sunday night. That's gonna be a good one.
Difference maker, and that's why Jonah is my pick for this game as well.
There you go. I'll go Joe. We'll disagree on all of them. That's okay. That's okay.
This was not planned, but
no. We'll push it. I'm going to push Joe. I think he ends up pulling it out a little bit. Not having Mixon though, as a definite 18-ish points for Joe could I think be the factor.
I like Jonah's flex. Calvin Ridley is also.
He was almost my sleeper pick.
He's gone quiet, but you never know. He could pick it up.
Yeah. Especially against Washington. I think Ridley ends up pulling the other cornerback, and Julio pulls Josh Norman. Yeah. So I think Ridley's the guy to look for to make the impact for the Falcons this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, and we hope y'all enjoyed the games. Thank you.
Good luck.
This has been Bernard's Regards.
Signing out.